we're going to be talking about the condenser now. This is what your typical condenser looks like. This one is still installed in this car. Now, if you see, there are two hoses here. This one comes from the condenser, from the compressor, sorry. This hose is usually hot. So when this hose now enters, this introduces the gas into the condenser. The gas then flows through the condenser, through all these tiny holes and everything, then comes out through this hose, then finds its way through the firewall to the expansion valve, which is behind there, if you can see it. Now, how does the condenser work? The condenser works almost like the radiator of your car. The only difference is the radiator takes coolant, while the condenser takes refrigerant or gas. When the hot gas comes into the condenser, as it's flowing through the condenser, the fans also come on to cool the gas down. Now, some people will say, my car only cools when it's moving. That when you say your car only cools when it's moving, it could be that your compressor does even not have any problem. It could be that your condenser is not working optimally. Because if your condenser is not working optimally, when the gas flows through it, it doesn't cool the gas down properly. And now, if it doesn't cool the gas down properly and sends that same gas that is semi-hot or that is still hot into the expansion valve, the expansion valve will have a lot of work to do. So if maybe your gas is the gas that is supposed to come at maybe at a 5 degree Celsius. If the gas now comes at, then that 5 degrees Celsius gas is now going to be cooled down to maybe a -10, for example. Let's assume that the expansion valve has a cooling capacity of a heat reduction capacity of 15 degrees. If the gas that comes in comes at 5 degrees, it means that the expansion valve is going to cool it effectively to -10 degrees. However, if that same gas comes now at 20 degrees, the expansion valve is going to cool it to 5 degrees. That is why the air in your car will not be cold enough, because the gas that is being supplied to the expansion valve by the condenser is not cool enough to make the expansion of the expansion valve effective. All right. Now, the condenser itself has another very important component, which is called the dryer. Or in some other systems or in some other cars, it comes as a filter. This dryer, when the gas comes in, the dryer filters the gas. Because sometimes your compressor is already weak and is already introducing some small metallic shafts into the system, into the gas. The work of that dryer is to clean it. The work of the dryer also is to suck in the moisture. Gas sometimes also comes with a moisture content, that's water content. The work of the dryer is also to suck in that water and dry it up. That is also the work of the filter. If this dryer is blocked, it will make the work of the condenser to be very inefficient. If your filter is also blocked, it will make the work of the condenser to be very inefficient. That is why this condenser, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, it's even the most important part of the system. Because if you have a new compressor and you have a bad condenser, it's going to destroy the compressor. Sometimes it does not even take up to 20 minutes of the AC working constantly for your compressor to be destroyed if you have a bad condenser. That is how the condenser works. It is just as simple as that. So when you want to check out why your system is not working optimally, you have to make sure that your condenser is free. A very easy way to know that. Unfortunately, this condenser is usually covered by the front grille of your car. This one is being worked on, so we've removed the front grille. If you can have access to the condenser, if you touch it, you should notice that the upper part should be hot, coming from here, moving down here. You should feel the heat, but the heat should be decreasing progressively. Now when you come down, it should be the same. Here should be hot down to the point where this small hose comes up. At the point of that small hose, it should be warmer, or it should be colder than the one that is from the top. If you notice that the gas down and the gas up are of the same temperature, you should have it in mind that your condenser is not working optimally. Also, if you notice that there's a very huge variation in the temperature of your condenser, you know there's a blockage. What I mean is this: if this part of your condenser is very hot and this other part now appears to be very cold, there's a blockage. It means that gas is not flowing properly. In fact, in that way, I always recommend change your condenser completely. If you notice that your problem with your condenser has to do with blockage, please, it's advisable to change it completely. Because most times, even if you want to flush the condenser, you are not able to flush out all the debris completely. So I always recommend to change completely. So that is how the condenser works. The condenser works hand in hand with the compressor. A healthy condenser is a healthy compressor. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can leave it down in the comment section. Thank you.